I'm muted. Hello. Hello, my friends. Hello. Here we are again. We're back. We are back. Today is Monday, July 22nd of 2024. And we're back in Norfolk, Superior Courthouse in Dedham, Massachusetts for the trial scheduling conference of Karen Reed. How is everyone today? It's been a while. Here we are again. Here we are again. Hello, Sunflower Day. How's everybody? How's everybody doing? How's everybody's feeling? Thank you, Justin, for the Cash App. Appreciate you so very much. Jumping in there before the stream even started. Thank you. We don't know what's going to happen in court today. We don't know. We don't know. You never know what you're going to get, right? Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. It's kind of like the world of Judge Cannone's courtroom. Judge Cannone's courtroom is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Who can name what movie that's from? We thinking song lyrics and movie quotes here. And the saga continues. That is so very hard to predict. One way or another. Oh, different song. One way or another, this darkness got to give. And that's a Grateful Dead reference. Thank you, Pilgrim Shadow, for coming in with the lyric of the day. So far, New Speedway Boogie and a 5. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. Loma, thanks for being a member for for 2 months. Thank you. Thank you so much. And for saying that I look beautiful. I appreciate you. Thank you so very much. What's we gonna happen today, my friends? That's right. It is Forrest Gump. To those of you who in the chat, run, Forrest, run, run, Forrest, run. Judge Cannone's courtroom is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Just saw a very interesting piece by the reporter who did the first interview with Paul O'Keefe. Let me pull that report up for you because it really just happened about half an hour ago. So I want you to see it. Give me a second while I pull it up. And tell me where you're watching from and how you're doing today. Apparently, one of the jurors reached out to Christina Rex, who's the reporter on CBS Boston, WBZ, and spoke to Christina Rex. So let's take a quick look at that while we're here, since we have some time. And listen to Christina tell us what this conversation was that she had with this juror. Because this is the first time we've heard of a juror going to the press. Let me know that you can hear this. I can't hear it, so hang on. This was just posted about within an hour ago.
We could learn about next steps in the Karen Reed case this afternoon. A hearing is scheduled to discuss a possible retrial after that deadlocked jury ended with a mistrial earlier this month. WBZ's Christina Rex has been reporting on this case since the very beginning. She joins us live in Dedham now. And so, Christina, you spoke with one of the jurors this morning?
I did, Paula. So
let me just say that that's crazy that a juror reached out to her. I don't know that any other juror spoke out to a reporter, so this is really interesting to me. And she said she spoke with the juror just this morning. So that's interesting to me. Is the jury going to be there today? Did the judge call the jury back in without telling anybody? That's interesting. And she's right outside the courthouse.
I spoke with one of the deliberating jurors this morning about the case, and I can confirm that this was a deliberating juror because I saw them face to face in the courtroom every single day for 9 weeks. So I want to tell you a little bit about what that juror told me. That person tells me the jury was unanimous for a not guilty vote on murder and on leaving the scene. So that was charges 1 and 3 that Karen Reed faced in this indictment. That juror also tells me the jury was hung on the lesser included charges under manslaughter. So that second charge and the lesser included charges. That juror tells me their final vote on that issue was a soft 9-3, 9 guilty, 3 not guilty. That juror also tells me the jury did consider telling the judge about their unanimous decisions on some of the charges, but that it was unclear how to communicate those decisions to the court. Now, defense attorney.
Unclear. What have we been saying all along? The jury instructions were unclear. The mistrial, the granting of the mistrial was unclear, and the juror didn't know what to do. She said, we thought about, she or he, we don't know if it's a she or he, thought about communicating that to the judge, but we just didn't know how. Now she's saying it's 9-3. It's a soft 9-3. I don't know what that means. I have the second verdict slip for you. We can pull it up and look at it so I can explain to you what this juror apparently told this reporter about the charges they were hung on. So we'll do that in a second. But this is interesting that the juror reached out to her just this morning. She spoke to the juror this morning. And that's interesting. So let's listen up.
Attorneys want the judge to pull the jury and drop those particular charges.
I think the judge has to pull them, has to find out if it truly was unanimous on those two charges. And if it was a unanimous verdict of not guilty, then I think just justice is going to require her to enter not guilty finding on those two charges, which would leave.
And I have been saying this as well. And it's interesting because I usually disagree with this legal analyst that they have on here. Her name is Jennifer Roman, and I usually disagree with what she has to say. So it's interesting to me that she's saying that she does believe that the judge should inquire of the jury. So that's interesting.
The prosecution with the involuntary manslaughter charge. Still a very serious charge, but certainly not as serious as the murder charge.
It's unclear if Judge Beverly Cannone will rule on defense's motions in Monday's hearing, but it is possible. This is technically a status hearing to determine the next steps for a second Karen Read trial and when that could take place. Under Massachusetts law, a retrial would have to happen within 1 year.
We support the blue.
Karen Read supporters are back outside the courthouse Monday, and so are counter-protesters. They say they'll be here every day that this case continues.
We're back out here again to support Karen because we ain't got no quit. And that's why we're here. We're hoping Judge Cannone does the right thing, but we don't have blinders on, you know what I mean? But we still hold hope.
And back out here live in Dedham, what you're looking at now is that group of Karen Read supporters who've gathered in front of the courthouse. On the other side of them, where you can't see, is a counter-protesting group really against Karen Read that has shown up today as well. I want to point out they're all here on the sidewalk now because that buffer zone that existed during trial is now gone. It's no longer. So they're all protesting right on the sidewalk in front of the courthouse. This status hearing starts at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Live in Dedham, Christina Rex, WBZ News.
So no more buffer zone today. No more buffer zone. That's interesting. I wonder if there's any shenanigans happening outside of the courthouse. Here, I'm going to put Tom's CPU, his stream up, because he's got Karen and her team coming out of the car. I'm going to just rewind this a little bit because I just missed the part for you where they got out of the car, I believe. Hold on. There's no sound on this, so we're just watching video. Exactly, Jennifer. I think that's where I disagreed with her. I saw her on Surviving the Survivor, for those of you who don't know. I also did one appearance on that show on Karen Read, and I think that is exactly what her opinion was, and that's where I saw it, and that's where I disagreed with her.
Mhm.
Thank you, Z. The signal down at the courthouse is really, really terrible. So props to Tom for even being able to do this because there's so much media there that they're eating up all of this signal. And so there's David Yannetti, Mr. and Mrs. Read. This must be Marty Weinberg right here on the left. Everyone was asking if Marty Weinberg was going to be here, and I believe that is him, or that is he.
Okay.
Yes, we do know there will be cameras in the courtroom. I have the feed up. Oh, does everyone miss the fan? Do you miss the fan? I'm not sure who these two guys are in the sunglasses that are flanking Karen.
Oh, okay. All right.
Jackson is not there today. He said that he had a hearing today. He could not be here. Somebody wrote it. Okay, so on the other side, you can see the counter protesters. These are the supporters of Karen Read. And what is interesting to me, and I just noticed this. Okay, so on the other side of the steps, you see the counter protesters that are here with I'm not sure what the signs say, just justice for John O'Keefe and his shield number, which is 2490. I can't hear what they're screaming. If anybody has boots on the ground there and you can let me know, please let me know. But I noticed something else. And that is, I think this is a police officer with a pink ribbon on his vest. He seems to be, maybe that's private security. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like he's wearing a police uniform right here, but it looks like he does have a pink ribbon right on his chest. And okay, so he may be private security. I thought it was an officer or an MSP trooper with a pink ribbon on his. I thought that would be kind of odd. Karen's parents. Okay.
Oh, Rita.
Well, that's just giving me a headache, but you can get an idea of what's going on out there. There's a lot of people there. The buffer zone is no longer because the trial is not happening and there are no jurors there. I do not know who is there. I do not know who has a bullhorn. And there's Aiden Carney in a blue shirt. So is he wearing blue to try and blend in with the counter protesters? I don't know. Richard wants to know if there's any chance the Commonwealth says it's just not worth it. Dropping the charges. I do not think so. I think they're too heavily invested in this already. That is my opinion. I don't think they're going to drop it. They do have the option of dropping the charges that the jury says that they allegedly came to a consensus on, an acquittal on charges 1 and 3 or counts 1 and 3. They have the option to do that. Will they do that? I doubt it. And that's what's going on right now, live from the outside of Norfolk Superior.
Guilty! Guilty!
Thanks. I can't hear what they're screaming. Can you guys hear what they're screaming? Or is anybody boots on the ground? Type in the chat what the counter protesters are screaming. Guys, go sub up to Tom CPU. He does all the live coverage in the courthouse for this case, outside the courthouse. Max Ben. This guy laying hands on people, really? This guy. With all those cameras around, he's going to bait people to fight him, that guy? What a mess. Right. Who are the violent ones, eh? Yeah, can't we all just get along? I don't know. Exactly. Handle yourselves with dignity, integrity, something. It's giving me anxiety, Carrie-Ann.
Food stamp 20! Food stamp 20! Food stamp 20!
Yeah. All right. I think I've seen about enough of that. What say you? I don't think we need to give ourselves any more anxiety than necessary today. They're trying to stir things up. Listen, I've never known any of the Free Karen Read supporters to be in any way violent or instigating any kind of trouble or trying to fight people but this whole scene is not good for anyone. And remember, they just started showing up, these counter protesters, allegedly in support of the family during jury deliberations. Where have they been for the past 2.5 years? They have been nowhere. It's whack. But in the meantime, some other news broke, and this just happened. What's today? Today's the 22nd. So here's what happened on the 19th, just to catch you up a little bit if you guys have been out of the loop. Netflix greenlighted a docuseries on John O'Keefe's killing and the Karen Read murder trial. So this broke in Deadline, which is one of the trade publications, on the 19th. So that was Friday. It says Netflix is going to deep dive into the death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe in a new 3-part docuseries. The Canton, Massachusetts police officer was found unresponsive in the snow on January 29th, 2022, and was pronounced dead at the hospital. There's the man passed out in the snow, according to the 911 call. O'Keefe's then girlfriend, Karen Reed, became the suspect and was charged with second-degree murder and manslaughter while operating a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol and leaving the scene of an accident resulting in death. Karen Reed pleaded not guilty to all charges, with her legal team arguing that she was framed as part of a conspiracy by civilians and law enforcement to protect the real killers. The murder trial was declared a mistrial on July 1st of 2024 after the jury was unable to reach a unanimous verdict. Norfolk County prosecutors have announced that they intend to retry the case, while the defense has filed to dismiss 2 of the charges. Sandpaper Films is producing the docuseries with Danielle Johnson and Rob Miller serving as co-directors. Susanna Price and Henry Singer are on board as executive producers. Quote, the team feels immensely privileged to be bringing this important series to a Netflix global audience. It is a case that has garnered a huge amount of public attention and has far-reaching implications. The co-director said in a statement, we are also mindful that this is a highly sensitive case, or hugely sensitive case, and we are determined to treat all those involved with the respect and consideration they deserve. The true crime genre has been popular on Netflix, where the streamer has capitalized on producing docuseries like Making a Murderer, Killer Inside, The Mind of Aaron Hernandez, and American Murder, The Family Next Door, among many others. And what is so interesting about this, I read Deadline every day. This is the only article that you will ever find that has no comments. So I found that to be really interesting because there's usually lots of comments on every Deadline article. And it's been up since Friday. So there's that. I've got Boston 10 up. They are going to be live streaming this coverage. So as soon as they have the camera up, take a look at it. Thank you, Carolyn, for your super sticker. I appreciate you. Nicole Hoban, private security, good local guy. That's awesome. Thanks, Nicole, for letting us know. Appreciate you guys so much. Blessed Mom from Texas, thank you so much for the 5 praying for Karen Reed. Hashtag free Karen Reed. Love to Melon Cupcakes. Thank you, sweetie. Thanks for coming over and watching with us. Dawn says the anti-Karen crew were screaming awful obscenities earlier when Aiden walked by. I guess that's somewhere on film, right, Dawn? Glamasuse, thanks for the 5. 4 of the 5 who originally showed up are Karen Reed supporters. The only thing they have in common is hating Turtle Boy. I know them all. That's interesting because many of you have sent me pictures of those particular, I think they're all women, in free Karen Reed t-shirts back in the day before whatever happened between Aiden Carney and those women. Thank you, On Top, for your super sticker and always being on top of it. Athena, thank you so much for the 10. A picture circulated of Paul O'Keefe on vacation with the McCabe's. Drinking in a bar. Way to go, Paul. Open your eyes to the truth. Thank you for thank you, Athena. I didn't know that, so I'm not aware of that, but that's interesting. Camera's up in the courthouse, but it's also frozen. So here's some of our favorite court officers that we got to know during the trial a bit. Thanks, Athena. And thank you, Max, for your 5 and for sending love and for thanking me. Well, so what just happened? They tell them to turn the cameras off? Okay, well, take that down for a minute till they get their act together. Boston 10 is the only one that I know that is live streaming. I will check and see if Court TV has it up. If you guys know any place else that is live streaming, let me know. But we may have to use Boston 10. Doesn't look like Court TV is doing it. On YouTube, anyway. And if we watch it on the Court TV station, then we're going to have to watch the commercials. Law and Crime. Law and Crime likes to strike creators, but we can give it a shot. All right, I have my notification on for that one as well. All right, we'll see. We'll see how we go. We shall see. Thank you, Max. The current time here on the East Coast is 1:56 p.m. What do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen, you guys? Maybe just a scheduling conference. Judge may come on and say, all right, I'm not even going to talk about this motion right now. Oh, guess who's watching? Craig is watching. Hi, Craig. Craig Bates, our favorite man from the kingdom. There's sound, but no mics are turned on yet. Hi, Craig. Everybody loves Craig. Craig, I wanted to talk to you because I'm also covering the Ashley Benefield case out of Florida. And the judge just denied a motion to allow their tech guy, who's actually also their paralegal, to sit at the defense table. So he has to sit behind them, and they had to get special permission just today for them to use a small table. And the judge actually said, well, what do you mean a small table? Like a TV tray table? That's exactly what the judge said. It's like, he's stealing my lingo. So they're going to let him have the same TV type tray table that you had. I was wondering if you ever were told that you could not, well, aside from the Karen Reed trial, sit at defense counsel table. Because in Karen Reed trial, the judge told us and you the table wasn't big enough because it was a smaller courtroom, because the defense wanted a smaller courtroom, because the jurors had to look at the back of the witnesses' heads. Karen looks beautiful today. Craig, are you feeling like you want to be there? Sonia, thank you so much for tuning in, for your super chat. Thank you for helping us make sense of this problematic issue. Love from Portugal. Hello, Portugal. Never been to Portugal. I heard it's beautiful there. Nico, thanks Nico 2020 for the 5. Polo keep vacationing in Maine with the McCabe's while Jill Daniels and her boyfriend get into a fight with management at a bar in Falmouth. Well, I mean, didn't she also recently get into a videotaped altercation with Aiden, I think? It's crazy what's going on. Guys, you got to this is what I tell my kids too. You got to understand that every single person out there is carrying a camera in their pocket, a video camera. You have to assume that everywhere you go and that everything you do is going to be recorded. So just guide your actions accordingly. It's not hard. It's not hard to be classy. I don't get it. Let's see where we can go with this, that I'm not in the way. There's Jim, our court clerk. Here we go.
Now, open in ABC. Judge 22-117 versus Karen Reed. Can I have counsel identify themselves?
I'm for the Commonwealth. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Good morning. Good
Good
afternoon, Mr. Miller.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Laura McLaughlin for the Commonwealth.
Good afternoon, Mr. McLaughlin.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Martin Weinberg.
Volume is terrible.
Good afternoon, Mr. Weinberg. It's nice to see you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. David Benetti for Karen Reed.
Good afternoon, Mr. Giannetti. Good afternoon, Ms. Reed. All right, so the case is scheduled today for trial assignment, and what I'd like to do is to get 3 dates. I'm aware that a motion to dismiss has been filed. I'd like to get a quick date on that, and I'm glad you're here, Mr. Weinberg, because I'd like it to be with your schedule. Then we need a trial date, and we need a final trial conference. So I was thinking on the motion to dismiss, can we do it a week from Friday? It would be for oral argument only.
From the defendant's perspective, yes, Your Honor.
All right, I think that's August 2nd, Mr. Clerk.
I'm going to be out of state. I return on August 3rd.
Okay. August 9th? Are you available, 2 o'clock, are you available, Mr. Weinberg, on August 9th? Mr. Lally, is the Commonwealth available on August 9th?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so that's for oral argument only, okay?
2 p.m.
2 p.m. All right, so given the schedule, and I assume whatever I end up doing on the motion to dismiss will be appealed. In an effort to make sure we have plenty of time, I would like to schedule the jury trial on January 27th. Is the Commonwealth available?
That's fine, Your Honor.
Mr. Eddie?
That should be fine.
Okay, so January 27th for trial. And let's do the final trial conference the week of the 13th or even the week of the 6th. Do you have the calendar, Mr. Clerk, or any of those days?
Yeah, there's nothing, just not the 9th or the 16th, but all of the days are open.
Your Honor, the only caveat, I don't have anything on the 27th. I'm clear for that day, but for the fact that I have a Superior Court trial scheduled to begin in Essex County on January 13th. There are multiple.
How long do you expect it to take?
That's what I was getting to. That could take longer than 2 weeks. I'm happy to have this case take priority over that, but that's.
No, we'll hold it for you day to day if need be, and I can contact the Essex Superior Court judge once you know who he or she is.
Yeah, that's not ideal. In terms of preparing for trial, I can't do 2 or 3 week Superior Court trial and then jump into this case. I can't do that.
Okay? So what are you telling me? You said you're willing to make this a priority, so we'll stick with the 27th?
Well, okay. Well, why don't we do this? Let's put it on for the 27th. Let me see if I can make peace in Essex County. And then on the next date, when we come back to oral argument, I can readdress the court on that issue.
Okay, I'm happy to talk to Judge McCarthy, who's the garage up there, about this.
It's yeah, okay, that's great.
All right, so let's set it for the 27th. And why don't we do the 14th for final trial conference?
The 14th at 9 or 2?
2. If it turns out that we have, in excess of 35 or whatever motions eliminate still at that point, let us know and we will try and get the whole day. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All eyes support, please. 8, 9, and 2 p.m.
All right, we just got better sound on a different channel, so give me a second. We'll see if we can watch that again. I know the sound was terrible. Well, that was a whole lot of nothing, huh? Hang on 1 second. Something totally screwed up. No, there's 2 of me. Look at this. So the next thing that's going to happen is August 9th at 2 PM. Something really weird just happened. Now I'm getting an echo. So bizarre. She's gonna address the juror situation on August 9th at 2 PM. Let's see if they're gonna replay this on Law and Crime, because their audio is much better. Well, at least we can watch the end of it, because I know so many of you couldn't hear a thing.
A 2 or 3 week Superior Court trial and then jump into this case. I can't do that.
Okay. So what are you telling me? You just said you're willing to make this a priority, so we'll stick with the 27th?
Well, okay. Well, why don't we do this? Let's put it on for the 27th. Let me see if I can make peace in Essex County. And then on the next date, when we come back for oral argument, I can readdress the court on that issue.
Okay, I'm happy to talk to Judge McCarthy, who's the garage up there about this.
It's yeah, okay, that's great.
All right, so let's set it for the 27th. And why don't we do the 14th for final trial conference?
The 14th at 9 or 2?
2. If it turns out that we have, in excess of 35, or whatever motions and eliminate still at that point, let us know and we will try and get the whole day. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All eyes to the court, please. 9 at 2 PM.
And that's it. Somebody's asking, why didn't they check with Alan Jackson? I'm assuming they had a schedule when they came in this morning. So that is it. August 9th at 2 PM, there will be an argument on the motion to dismiss with regard to the juror issue. And then the new trial is scheduled to start on January 27th, 2025. The final pretrial conference at 2 PM on January 14th. And that is it. Yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah, could have been an email or a Zoom meeting, but nope. Absolutely no. So there's been some questions about the lesser includeds that the jury says that they were hung on. So I just want to pull up that jury verdict slip and show it to you. I just need to kick myself out of this stream and come right back. So give me a minute. StreamYard is acting up again. Test- test- Testing, testing. All right. It's just not going to work. All right. Testing to make sure you can still hear me. Oh my God, this thing sucks. All right, let's take a look at the verdict slip of count 2. So I can explain to you a little bit better what it is that the jury says that they were hung on, allegedly, because we won't know until this hearing is held on August 9th at 2 PM what's going to happen next. Click the subscribe button. Thank you, Black Rose. We are in an unofficial competition with Vinny Politan to beat him in his subscriber count, and we're up to 65,000, and he's at, like, 70,000. So, we're almost there. It's free to subscribe. Just do it. Thank you. Alright, let's, take a look at this verdict slip, but let's go to some questions first. Oh, thanks, I'm just a girl in the world, wishing the circumstances were different. Thanks so much for the 10, appreciate you. Clamasues, thanks for the 10. The one benefit in this being in January is that both Turtle Boys and the Canton 9 cases should be resolved by then. Brandy O'Bradle is filing a motion to dismiss soon, and his judge is great. All right, we'll keep a lookout for that. Gringa, thank you so much for being a member for a month. Says, thank you for the update, Melanie. Love this channel. I love having you here, Gringa. Thank you so much. Beverly Ann says, Bev stated that due to her decision on the motion to dismiss that there would be many appeals, and that's why she wanted to set the rehearing in January. Yeah. And I assume that the SJC, which is the appellate court that it would go up to next, would hear it as an emergency. And that way there's enough time. I mean, we're already at July 22nd. So 6 months. The trial date's about 6 months away. Thanks, Bevan. Lori, thank you for your super sticker. And Jen, thank you so much for the 10. Everyone in Canada on their best behavior. No one wants to go through the quote justice system Karen deserves for life back, man. I hope everyone in Canton is being on their best behavior. That would really help everyone. Okay. Remember when we first looked at these verdict slips, there were 3 verdict slips altogether, and this is the second one, and this is the one that the jury allegedly says that they were hung on. And this is for offense number 2, manslaughter while operating a motor vehicle under the influence. Now, the reporter that we heard from earlier today, I think her name's Christina Rex, said that the juror that she spoke to this morning told her that they were stuck on the lesser included offenses on count 2. So the top offense on count 2, as you can see here, or offense number 2, is manslaughter while operating motor vehicle under the influence. And then the choices underneath this second page of the verdict slip are: in the above entitled case, we, the jury, say that the defendant is 1, not guilty, or 2, guilty of the offense as charged, manslaughter while operating a motor vehicle under the influence. And then it says check 1 or both of the following: manslaughter while operating a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol, and or manslaughter while operating a motor vehicle with a blood alcohol level of 0.08 or greater. So the juror that the reporter spoke to this morning, and I think 2 of the other jurors at least that came forward through affidavits, indicated that they were hung on the lesser included offenses. So here are the lesser included offenses. That would be the top charge. They were not hung on that. They were hung on these: either the lesser included offense of involuntary manslaughter or the lesser included charge of motor vehicle homicide, felony OUI, liquor, and negligence. Then it says check 1 or both of the following: motor vehicle homicide by operating a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol, and or motor vehicle homicide by operating a motor vehicle with a blood alcohol level of 0.08 or greater. And I find this to be very confusing, and I'm a trial lawyer with 30 years experience. So I can't imagine how the average juror felt going through this, what I think is a ridiculously confusing verdict slip. But again, that was up to the attorneys to argue, and in the end, I think they did argue it. So I don't know if this is the exact final slip, because I think maybe this slip did have a guilty and a not guilty box for each of these lesser includeds, but who knows? And then I remember at one point during the instructions or during the argument with the attorneys, when they were arguing this issue, she said, well, if they don't check off guilty, then automatically that means she's not guilty. And then she told the jurors, don't come back until you fill out all the forms. So what say you? Do you find this confusing? Hi, Cam. Thanks for being a member for 2 months. Cam says she won't be stopped until the appeals court or the Supreme Court does. She has no interest in the rights of the defendant. This motion is not hearsay or bogus as she treats it. She's all in. Thank you, Cam. It's a good time to point out that the views of my viewers are not necessarily my views or opinions. Thank you, Cam. Adam Drives Helen, thanks for giving in a membership. That is so very nice of you. Lori Bell, to go Bubs. Change of venue possible? Can Bev be excluded? They may ask for a change of venue. They can have, motions up for the next 6 months. They've got time. Go Buffs. I am a Buff. Can she be excluded? She's already been asked to recuse herself once. I don't see that she's going to agree to that. If they move to a new venue, oftentimes the judge goes with. So we'll see what happens. I don't know how they're going to find an impartial jury in Norfolk County. Thanks, Melly, for your super sticker and for always coming in and being so pleasant. What's really going on? Is double jeopardy not a problem anymore? No, it's going to be heard. That motion is going to be heard on the 9th of August. So we will be back for that at 2 p.m. Yes. Thank you, Lemonade, for putting that in there for me and for everyone else. August 9th is the hearing on the motion to dismiss, and January 27th, the anticipated date of the new trial, although it could change. David D. Netting had a scheduling conflict. Guess she just didn't want to hear it. Same three. Well, we don't know if it's going to be the same three charges because she's going to hear that motion to dismiss about the juror issue via oral argument only. She said on August 9th, which is about what, 2 weeks from now? Let's see. It's a Friday, so it's 2 weeks from this coming Friday. Karen Reed Briggs StreamYard. Yeah, it's true. Feds aren't going to do anything. Thank you, Bernadette, for becoming a new member. If anybody can see or knows whether anybody is rebroadcasting this hearing on YouTube that has decent sound, we can watch it again because we kind of got lost with the bad sound. I don't know if you guys have to turn it up, if it even worked turning it up. Well, they've been filming Karen for the 10 weeks of trial and trying to hone in on her on her private conversations with her attorney. Somebody said, get the camera off Karen. I know it sounded like she did mention something about another judge near the end, but I was having so many issues on my end that I couldn't even really hear it. So let's just see if we can get that back one more time. If anybody knows if they've got it, let me know in the chat. We are outraged. We are outraged. The internet is broken today. It is broken today, Team Brittany, right? It's not just me. I mean, all I see on Long Crime is the same little piece of it that we saw, unless they're going to replay it again. And then they just ended it. All right. Well, that doesn't help us. Did Court TV play it? Not as far as I can see. Now, the motion to dismiss is going to be heard on August 9th, so we have to come back for that. Hi, Jill. Thanks for tuning in from the UK. Says I really feel for Karen after that. I mean, her life is really on hold despite all the ongoing support. Yep. I'm with you on that. Was Boston 25 the one that we watched, or was it Boston 10? Let me see if this volume is any better. No, it's really terrible. I mean, we're back to bad sound again. Is that just what we're going to have to deal with? Well, John, you didn't miss much. It was a very short conference. They're coming back on August 9th to discuss the motion to dismiss the jury issue at 2 p.m. New trial date January 27th of 2025, with a final trial conference date of January 27th, 2025, with a final conference date of January 14th, 2020. And she's expecting appeals in between, depending on which way, whatever way. She said, whatever way that she rules, whatever way she rules on the juror issue, she's expecting appeals. And that's just what's going to happen, she says. Thanks, Pilgrim Shadow, for the 5. If you pray, remember to say a prayer for Officer O'Keefe's niece and nephew. Peace be with everyone here today. We will survive. Thank you. Another Grateful Dead reference from our in-house Grateful Dead lyric expert, the Pilgrim Shadow. Thank you so much. David Reese says, I think they were hung on the involuntary. George King became a new member. Welcome, George. Fortunately, we're having difficulties today with all of the terrible StreamYard issues, the terrible breaking of the internet issues. Paladin Loon, thank you so much. Was it intimidating saying she talked to the judge? Who? Saying who would talk to the judge? Not following you. Not following you. If you can explain that to me, that would be helpful because I don't know what your question means. Well, my friends, there's not a lot that I can do here outside of trying to find that replay, which I cannot seem to find. Has anybody found it? Long Crime? Long Crime didn't even broadcast the whole thing. They only broadcast a tiny bit of it. So that was just weird. Bev said she'd talk to the other judge. Bev said she was gonna talk to the judge in Essex County where Yannetti's in trial. Oh, is that what she said? Because I couldn't hear a damn thing. Thanks, Suze. She may be saying, "Look, I'll talk to the other judge to try and get you off that day so that we can have our conference." Was it for the conference or for the trial? Oh, to try and get them to move his other trial? That's whack. Yannetti said when he came out that they would take it to the highest court. It says Trident. Yep. Erica was a nothing burger. Can I post the dates and times for court in an email? I don't have everyone's email, Margaret. I don't have an email list or anything. But NBC 10 is what we looked at. And their sound was horrific. So I can't even get a better version. Thanks. I look iconic today. Too bad I can't get anything to work over here. Yeah, it is crazy. I don't know. It's clear she didn't hit him with her car. I've been saying that. I've been screaming that into the void. Screaming it into the void about the first question on that verdict slip should have been, did you find that Karen hit John O'Keefe with her car? And if you don't find that, then you do not need to move on. You do not need to move on. All right, my friends, I'm having way too many technical difficulties here to even continue. So for those of you who would like to watch the Ashley Benefield trial with me, I'm going to be covering that gavel to gavel. They're doing jury selection today. Maybe it'll start tomorrow. Maybe it'll start the next day. We don't really know yet. It's a very interesting case out of Florida about a woman who was 24 years old. She married a 4-year-old man, and she got pregnant, separated. She's alleging domestic violence, and she's alleging stand your ground, which is a self-defense option in Florida, and also the battered spouse defense. She did shoot and kill him all the way back in 2020. So that trial is going to be starting soon. It's very interesting. Follow me for hit the bell so you'll know when I go live, and I'll post it as soon as I know when that's going to happen. And until then, my friends, it's going to be an interesting trial. So I'll see you soon. Thanks, Maz, for keeping it classy today. This is wacky. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties, but that is all we can do. Sarah Smiles, thanks for the 10. Last minute, Bev offered to talk to the judge in Yannetti's other case about a potential date conflict for people asking about hearing another judge's name. All good. No conspiracy this time. Thank you, Sarah Smiles. Thank you. All right, you guys. Remember to do all the nice YouTube-ish things that YouTube loves. Hit the subscribe. Hit the like. Thank you to the mods for being amazing today, as always. And as I always say to end every stream, my friends, people will be kind and classy. It's not hard, really. It's so not hard. You'll thank us later. Peace. Oh, I love you guys too. Thanks.